One of our clients is looking for a PHP full-stack developer, and even though it may feel like a quite straightforward position, I will show you it is not, and there are a few different angles how to approach it. So let me first tell you a little more about full stack. So what does it really mean, full stack? Well, full stack is the combination of backend and front-end. So I'll type it here, backend and front-end. So as soon as web developers work both on the backend side and the front-end side, we refer to these kind of developers as full stack developers. And in this video, I'll not go too deep in explaining the three layers: backend, front-end, storage, databases. I have a dedicated video that focuses on this exactly. But now I'll rather explain further how to approach this exact position. So on the backend side, the programming language is really obvious. We are looking for a PHP developer. So PHP is used on the backend. PHP is the programming language. And on the front-end side, it pretty much only can be JavaScript, because JavaScript is used on the front-end side. So I'll type it here, JavaScript. Okay, PHP on the backend and JavaScript on the front end. So these are two different languages. These are core skills. We are looking for a PHP full stack developer, which means the PHP is a must-have skill. It's like looking for an English teacher who speaks English, right? An Italian teacher would not be a good fit. So we need someone who speaks PHP language. And also, since it's a full stack position, we need someone speaking JavaScript, someone who can type the code in JavaScript language. But then the important question actually comes up for the hiring manager. You know, I asked the manager, hey, dear hiring manager, but please tell me, what framework do you guys use on the backend side, and what framework do you use on the front-end side? So what they told me was that they use Symfony on the backend and what was it? Angular. Yes, Angular on the front end. So Angular framework. And frameworks are like templates that software developers use to make their job easier. They use these templates to start new projects and solve these rather mundane tasks that are part of their daily jobs. So in this particular company, they use Symfony framework, Symfony template to start. You know, that's how they started the project. You know, they used Symfony framework, and they also use Angular on the front end. But now the important question I asked the hiring manager was, hey, dear hiring manager, what if I bring you someone who is a senior PHP developer but does not know Symfony? He or she may know some other framework, but not Symfony, not exactly this one. Would you hire such person? And he said, yeah, actually, if you submit a candidate that has strong experience with Laravel or Zend, then I would consider such person. Which was really, really important piece of information, and I'll write it right below. So Symfony is the preferred framework, but Laravel or Zend would also be accepted, which was really important because I'm no longer just looking for the PHP Symfony developer, but I'm looking for PHP and one of these three, either Symfony or Laravel or Zend, because the hiring manager would hire someone who knows one of these three templates or frameworks. And then my second question for the hiring manager was, hey, what about the front-end framework? What if I submit a candidate who has not worked with Angular, but worked with React or Vue.js and is a senior candidate. Would you consider such person? And the hiring manager said, yeah, well, actually, of course, if it is a senior full stack developer, then I would consider such candidate, which was again very important, because then I know I can look for someone who is a strong React or Vue.js front-end developer. So someone who on the front-end side uses either Vue.js or React or Angular, and on the backend side, then Laravel or Symfony. And I know it may seem a little overwhelming, but look, I've got here these mind maps that make it all so much easier. This is the booklet with about 30 mind maps. It's called IT Recruiter Mind Maps. And if you open it up on page number 13, you will see this is not as difficult as it looks like. Because on the page number 13, you would see this high-level mind map of programming languages and frameworks. So usually each programming language has a few related frameworks. In case of PHP, it would be Laravel, Symfony, CodeIgniter, CakePHP, Zend, Netty. In case of JavaScript, it is Angular, React, Vue.js on the front-end side. Okay, so you just look at this mind map and you start asking the hiring manager questions as I just asked, right? So with this in mind, we know that we have a few different options on how to approach sourcing of the right candidate. We look for someone who has the PHP skill, someone who has the JavaScript skill, and one of these three, the Symfony and Angular, are the most preferred ones, obviously, because that's what they use in the company. But Laravel, Zend, React, Vue.js are also optional and would be considered. So with that in mind, what we can do is to write a few combinations of our options. So say the Boolean string that we would use on LinkedIn or in your own talent pool, in your own applicant tracking system. So you need someone who knows PHP, that goes without saying. You need someone who knows JavaScript. I'll just type JS as in JavaScript. And someone who knows a Symfony, and someone who knows Angular. Okay, so these are the most preferred skills: PHP, JavaScript, Symfony, Angular. But as I mentioned, the hiring manager would also consider someone who knows some other framework. So your other option and the way how to look for the right candidate would be to look for someone with PHP skill plus JavaScript plus the alternative to Symfony, which would be Laravel, plus Angular. The other alternative would be PHP plus JavaScript plus, let's say, Symfony plus React, because the alternative to Angular would be React. Okay, I underlined the desired. So the desired in this case would be Symfony. The most desired is Angular. So in, say, on LinkedIn, you can create a Boolean string that takes this into consideration. You are looking for PHP and JavaScript and Symfony or Laravel and Angular or React. Okay, so that would be your ideal Boolean string based on what you know, who are they looking for, but also who are they considering. So it's not just the ideal stack, but also they would consider these other candidates, because the candidate may be really senior, and for a senior full stack developer, it's not that difficult to learn Angular if the person has worked with React or with Vue.js on the front end. Okay, so you can approach it this way. The other combination would be PHP plus JavaScript plus what? Plus Laravel and React. Plus React. Okay, so again, this is not very, it's not the ideal match, because both backend and front-end frameworks are different. But if this candidate is really senior, then the hiring manager would hire such candidate. So this is how you can start thinking about a position of a PHP full stack developer. Make sure you ask good questions to your hiring managers to reveal who they would be willing to hire eventually. It's not just the most ideal case. Obviously, we are striving for this one. But what if you have a great PHP JavaScript full stack developer who has used React for the last 5 years? And most likely, that person would be a good fit, because a senior PHP, JavaScript, React developer can learn Angular in a few days or weeks. So this is how you can approach it if you work for an external agency, or even if you work in-house as a recruiter. Make sure you engage with your hiring managers. Make sure you ask these questions, because it will help you tremendously to identify candidates who are a good fit, and how to actually get in front of them, because it's not just targeting these people, but you can start targeting these other candidates, and you can present them this unique opportunity to learn Symfony or to learn Angular, which would be especially interesting if you consider some other framework. For example, both Laravel and Symfony are quite popular, but what about Zend? Zend framework is not as popular by any means as it used to be. So you can approach it in a slightly different way. You can reach out to developers who use Zend, and you can say, hey, you've been using Zend for the last 10 years, the good old days of Zend are gone. You can join this company and use the most, the coolest framework, the most popular framework in PHP. You can increase your market value. So this is how you can play with it, how you can get in front of candidates with some more meaningful job opportunity. And you can position it as a great step in their career, because they would learn these new languages, they would increase their market value. So it's just a win-win. Okay, so this is also what we do inside the Tech Recruitment Academy. We look at different IT positions. We look at how to, who would be a good fit, and then how to find those candidates. Eventually, how to present an opportunity in a compelling way. Because these days, developers have lots of opportunities. They have lots of offers every day, every week. So we need to find a way how to cut through the noise. And this is one of the ways, by understanding the IT landscape, by knowing how to use these mind maps. Obviously, you don't have to remember it all. I also don't remember all these terms in those mind maps, but as soon as I need, I know where to find it, and this helps me to come up with different Boolean strings and sourcing strategies. So this is how you can also use the mind maps. You can get just the booklet if you go to our website, itrecruitermindmaps.com, and get just the booklet in a PDF, or you can join the academy and we will send you this booklet. So yeah, it's just one of the options. Visit our Tech Recruitment Academy. Just go to techrecruitmentacademy.com and become a member. If you become the premium member, we will send you not just this booklet with all the mind maps, but also our other ebooks. Actually, we will send it to you printed and shipped to your doorstep. So you will get the printed books, so you can improve your recruitment skills, your IT recruitment skills, and get better on the market, increase your market value. So just go to techrecruitmentacademy.com and become a member right away. Have a wonderful day.